Welcome. I am a man called J, and in this video, we are continuing with our conversation about the kidnappings and lawless killings in Nigeria. But this time, we are going to expand the conversation a little bit more. We want to know what is the root cause and how can it be solved. So let us dive in. Yes, welcome back again. Without wasting much time, here is Temitope Olodo. So, Temitope Olodo, welcome again to the program. We know, yes, we are using the same title, Kidnappings and Lawless Killings in Nigeria. Well, I mean, it is on the rise, yes. But since you are a security man and you know so much about Nigeria, I just want to have a conversation with you from a different angle on how this issue can be tackled. And why is it not that in Nigerian authorities, they are kind of relaxed about it. I don't know whether they're relaxed about it or they don't know how to solve it. So you sent me some information and I have managed just to put it out there. So graphically, you have explained to the people what you know about all these things.
Thank you so much for having me once again. I think for many that are watching us live now on this program, I think a lot of them are concerned about the rate of insecurity in Nigeria. But we need to put things in perspective. And in order to understand, the drivers of this insecurity in Nigeria, we need to look deeper into some of the things that are aggravating this serious violence extremism that we're witnessing in Nigeria. So when you look at the word poverty, for example, in Africa, and particularly let's take three countries into consideration. Let's look at Nigeria, which is meant to be the giant of Africa, South Africa, which is another big economy, and let's look at Egypt, for example. So when you look at Nigeria, 71 million Nigerians are in extreme poverty, which means that some of them just have to live on one meal a day. So I want your viewers to just imagine, just close their eyes for 1 minute and think about the United Kingdom, which is about 60 million, if I'm right. And just imagine for once that everybody in the United Kingdom is hungry. They've not eaten anything. I could reassure you that even with just the fact that some few people or few thousands or maybe a million are said to be in poverty in the UK, just for that reason, they are ready to change the prime minister. They're ready to kick out the conservative, and they're looking at the Labour Party or other Lib Dem or the Reform UK to come and take over and provide a better alternative. Now imagine that the whole United Kingdom is in a situation where there is no food. And your viewers might not really understand this. I'm saying that imagine Gambia, imagine Senegal, imagine Freetown. Those three countries put together the people cannot even have a meal a day. There will be uproar. But here we are in Nigeria, a blessed nation, great people, great nation, and yet 71 million are in extreme poverty. To also try and illustrate it, even to put a pin on it, to actually nail it down, when you look at the infrastructural challenges in Nigeria, infrastructural deficiency in Nigeria, you will need $14.2 billion to repair the Nigerian infrastructure in order to make it fit for purpose. So water is not working, power is not working. The trains, they're just in debt, going into serious debt with the Chinese. There is insecurity in the country. Agriculture is not really that, even though there was a pyramid of rice that was created during the Buhari regime, but we all know the scandal around it. So what we're saying now is that if Nigeria needs 14.2 billion for infrastructure, and one of the statistics that was pushed out as far as 2017, which is now showing on your screen, indicate that Nigeria is ranked number 10 of the top kidnapper nations in the world. Now, I'm not saying that your viewers need to believe those statistics, even though they are real and carried out by independent body. The question is, if you read Nigerian Nigerian newspaper on a daily basis, you find out that those information are there. And unfortunately, not like in the United Kingdom or in the United States, where the police and the security service will actually push out statistics, the Nigerian police does not push out any statistics on anything. So we can't actually say this is the government figure. However, what we know is that the media have been trying to create a spotlight on very, very, high-profile kidnapping, where people have been kidnapped or a whole family have been kidnapped. People have been kidnapped on the trains. Like I mentioned yesterday, people are kidnapping their landlords. People are kidnapping their girlfriends. They are colliding and all kind of things that is going on in the Nigerian setting. So the problem we have is that we have all these challenges of infrastructure, unemployment youth, which is very, very high, problem with poverty, problem with investment, and because of that, those combination has actually helped to increase the kidnapping challenges that Nigeria is facing. That is the problem where we are.
Right. Now, you see, when you look at these two leaders here, Tinubu, did he really promise that he's going to tackle all these problems? Or what was his promise? Because I understand when Buhari was campaigning, he said he was going to defeat Boko Haram within 3 months within 100 days, yeah, as soon as he steps into office. So what was Tinubu's promise to the people of Nigeria?
Tinubu did not put a specific figure or a specific timeline, which was I was quite happy that he did not, on kicking out terrorism challenges in Nigeria, because for you to be able to destroy or to say you want to eradicate terrorism challenges, you must have a superior narrative compared to those individuals. Now, let me kick off another statistics, because I know your people are quite interested in statistics. The out-of-school children in Nigeria is about 20 million. Now, that's a population of 4 countries in Africa. If you look at the lower countries with 4 million, 5 million, population. So the challenge you have here is that you have children that are out of school, about 20 million. You understand? You have about 20 million that is out of school. In South Africa, you have about 1 million in South Africa that is out of school. So when you compare that figure of the number of people that are out of school in South Africa, the number of mothers in South Africa, which is about 994, compared to the Nigerian one, you find out that the out of school children, the Alumanjiris in the northern part of Nigeria and other parts of Nigeria with this, the number of youths that are unemployed, a number of people that are in poverty, these are contributory factors to the insecurity in Nigeria. And any serious government that is interested in dealing with the issue of security and insecurity in Nigeria must tackle the food crisis, must tackle the lack of employment opportunities for the youth. And that is a serious problem. In a country where the minimum salary is 30,000 a month, 30,000 is less than,
let us put it this way. It is $20 or it is equivalent to 19 euros, which is basically 18 pounds.
And that was why I said in our last program, and many of your viewers will have thought, what is this gentleman talking about? I said, even the dog in Asu Rock in the presidency cannot survive on that amount of money. The dogs of the unemployed in the UK who are on dole, what we call social funding, will not survive on $19 or 19 pounds a month. So that is what human beings are expected to survive on. Meanwhile, transportation is going up, fuel is going up, kerosene is unapproachable, diesel is something else. There is no power, there's no constant power supply. Because if there is power supply, then you could create employment for the people. But the power supply is, pathetic. So those are some of the reasons why it is very difficult for the Nigerian government. Of course, we must give it to the new president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is doing his very best to try and resolve the issue. And for example, he invited all the state governors, 36 of them, into his into the villa, and he spoke to them about them doing more to help the people in terms of palliatives and interventions, because he's giving them more. They're giving them more from the allocations, the federal government allocation. But he even went on to say that there might be need for them to review the constitution to introduce state policing, which I think is a very, very bold move, because some of the crimes happening are local, and you need local people who are police officers that understand the dynamics of that environment to understand how to address those challenges. Of course, I would have preferred if they have gone for a regional policing rather than a state policing, but that is a topic for another day. But the problem is the president is trying his best to address the issue of insecurity in the black market as we speak. £1 is going for about 2,030, if not more than, naira of Nigerian currency. So that is a serious issue.
Yes, I know we are still going round and round. You are really trying very hard to explain why these issues cannot be solved easily. But talking about the police, what is the standard of the police force in Nigeria? The quality of the policing.
Okay. You see, Nigerian police is a very, very complex organization, and it's complex because you come across officers, police officers, who are officers, so not lower rank, and they are professional, they dress well, they wear their uniform, they know what they're talking, they speak good English, they're able to communicate. But you come across some in the local ranking who wear slippers, who could shoot discriminatorily at anybody if they have weapons on them, who get drunk, who are not disciplined, and we could notice day in, day out, the police is trying to fish out those undesirable elements and then derobe them on national TV to show that this is what will happen to anybody that decide to go against, the normal norms and standing operational procedures that the police have. But I have a problem with the Nigerian police as an institution because I believe it is broken. And that's why I would recommend that they have what they call a federal police instead, and that the number of staff that will work within that federal police should not be more than maximum 100,000. They don't need 300, they don't need 400. But those 100,000 will be specialist police officers who will deal with cross-border crime. So if something happened in Lagos and the person decides to travel all the way to Abeokuta, crossing about 3 territories in the process, then those kind of federal police can go after them because that is beyond one jurisdiction. Those are the kind of work that I believe the police will be able to do effectively, but with a little number, created
Cool.
to do that.
Okay, so for those who are watching this program, we are talking about two things here. We are talking about kidnappings, lawless killings, and also we are trying to figure out how can the problem be solved. That's why you see we are jumping all the way to policing and stuff like that. But I just want to come back. Let me take Temitope Olodo here. So you see, we have got a map of Africa here. Now, we know Nigeria is got about it has got a population of 200 million. Yes, so when we say that 70 million people, they are actually in poverty, is it extreme poverty or in poverty? Because I want to clarify that. Extreme poverty. Right. So now when you take 70 million people in extreme poverty, you can combine Gambia, you can even combine Senegal, you can combine Burkina Faso, all these small countries like Equatorial Guinea and stuff. But even Congo, you can actually even put Congo in there. Yet, so now that 70 million people, I just want to ask this question. How did they get to that number? Because my theory is this. If you have got people, you have got 70 million people in poverty, and you have to remember in that number, there is also the biggest number which are out of school, which we are going to touch on. To me, it looks like it is a chain. It's a chain because you see, if you have got a kid, that kid grows up in the same conditions, also bears another kid. So that means the situation really keeps multiplying. So how do you think that, or how do you see this corrected?
Okay, it will take a lot of work, and there will be need for good people to stand up and be counted, and Nigerians need to come together. They need to come together to map out their own future, to say this is the way we want to move things forward, and this is what we need. They need to become their brother's keeper, if I could use that phrase. You see, the challenge is Nigeria is not lacking in talent. Neither is Nigeria lacking in white papers that have been developed to say this is the way we tackle the insecurity challenges and the explosive population that we have. The question is, how did we get to this point? We got to this point because someone, was unguided. Somebody forget their duty or slept on duty. Because if you have proper initiatives in place to capture individuals who are going through these challenges that could move them into extreme poverty, and you start to support them and give them the kind of tools that they need, then it should have been good. But in a country like Nigeria, There's no social net. You're on your own if anything happens, and that is why people find themselves in extreme poverty and there's nobody to assist them.
I would have imagined. Okay, so let us talk about this youth unemployment, which is basically where all these kidnappings and lawless killings probably am I right saying that it is actually due to unemployment and also probably the crime are likely to be committed by the youth? Is that
Okay. Okay. I would not want to join the former president to say that Nigerian youth are lazy, but I could say that there's no doubt there's some element of youth involvement and element of unemployed people, because just elements, because we have seen a lot of people appear before the court and they have jobs, but yet they want money because of the greediness, to blow, as they use the word blow in Nigeria. Uh, so I will reframe a bit from saying that the youth population is responsible for the kidnapping or for the challenges that we're facing. But there's no doubt there is a large number of them involved, and that's because of the situation, where they found themselves, where they also want to be somebody, and that is not going to be quite possible for them to become what they want to become. And they see all these politicians spending money, and they feel like, oh, why can't I also get that kind of money? So these are the kind of things that is leading them. And there's nobody. If you're in the UK and you are over the age of 18 and you don't have a job and you stay in your house for 3 or 1 month, or even 1 month is quite a long time. Even if you stay in your house for 3 weeks, you get a letter, you have to go to a job center to go and speak to them. They take your details, they give you money pending when you are able to get a job. Those are the kind of things that we need in Nigeria. But unfortunately, we're not seeing any of that.
now?
Safety nets.
Then another question maybe it would be, you see, as much we can actually spotlight the youth, but also there could be another thought that there are some gangs which are using these vulnerable people. They use them, they go and kidnap, get the money, get the ransom, and the money really does not even go to those people who are doing the kidnapping. Because I think I've seen somewhere mentioned something like that. Is that also a correct analysis or?
Yeah, is this a correct analysis? And there are elements of little proof by different statistics that have been put together and report, clearly indicating that what you said is right, but some elements, what's the word now? Some element of that population are actually involved in this kind of activities that we're talking about. I think for me, the solution is for government to sit up to their responsibility and ensure that certain interventions are in place and certain uh, system are in place to capture people, to know who is who and how A can be helped or B can be helped differently or C could be helped differently or D person could be helped differently. That is my view. But until they sit down to actually do it that way, there is no way out,
Okay,
unfortunately.
so let me go back here again. I think yes, probably this is in this program we're gonna really be short. I know we have been wandering from here to there. Now we are talking about 20 million kids out of school in Nigeria. Yes. Now schools. Say suppose they made an effort that now all kids have to go to school. Are there enough schools to contain these numbers?
There's no doubt in my mind that there might be some provisions, but the Jonathan administration, for example, created elementary schools so that those children, especially the ones from the north, can actually be able to benefit from it and get involved. Unfortunately, 20 million children out of school is a lot of children out of school, and they are out of school for different reasons. Maybe because their parents are uh, their parents are no longer available, so for that reason, they found themselves on the street. Maybe that they decide to join a gang, and all kind of reasons are responsible for children that 20 million. But I have not seen any document apart from the United Nations document, which more or less talk about what should be done. I've not seen, any document at national level that says we have 20 million children out of school. Our intention is to reduce it to 5 million or reduce it down to 2 million, and this is the way we want to achieve it. I've not seen anything like that, and I stand corrected. So we have a serious challenge in Nigeria when it comes to policy linking up to reality for the people.
So again, going back to our map, African map here, 20 million kids out of school. You've got that number can easily fit into 5 countries in Africa, in West Africa. Now that is really a huge problem. Now we're gonna wrap up. What if you were to advise Tinubu? What would your advice be? Because you have got this is the pandemic, the killings and the kidnappings, and the unemployment and the poverty. So 4 things. If you were to advise the government of Nigeria, what would you say to them?
If I had the privilege of meeting with the president, Tinubu, and some of his cabinet people, and I'm asked to give my own view, my suggestion would be very simple. Youth, employment. You need to create an enabling environment for people to commence work on uh, production of an investment that is brought in. And those investments automatically will lead to people getting jobs. So my recommendation would be identify where are the challenges. Once you identify the challenges, bring in subject matter experts to help you map out how you intend, where you are and where you want to be. And if you do that, you have no doubt that things will improve. That would be my recommendation to the president.
Well, Temitope Olodo, thank you very much. As always, I know within this program, because we have got a whole lot of things to talk about, and in fact, the source of it all is these kidnappings and stuff like that. Okay, our viewers, you will have maybe to contain with us because we have to jump to security. We have to talk about solutions, and then we have to look at the situation, what the situation is now, and what the leaders are saying or are doing. So I hope, Temitope, then I will see you again in another program. So viewers, thank you very much. I know we have been ping-ponging, that's what I can call it. But as you've heard Mr. Temitope Olodo, he's a knowledgeable guy, and he says that if he had a chance to meet with the leaders in Nigeria, he will have to tell it like it is or give them sound advice. But I'm sure that chance will come. So until then, ciao. I will see you in another video.